Amazon sells nearly everything on Earth to hundreds of millions of people and pulls in over $500 billion a year. So here's the strange part. Selling you all that stuff is barely how Amazon makes money. For years, its giant retail business ran at almost no profit, sometimes at a loss. The everything store, the thing Amazon is famous for, is not the engine. It's the bait. The real money is happening somewhere you never see, behind the website. And once you understand where, you'll never look at that little smile logo the same way again. So let's follow the money. Start with what you actually do on Amazon. You buy something. That order goes through Amazon's online store, and online stores are still the biggest slice of its revenue, around 40%. But revenue isn't profit. Retail is a brutal business. Amazon buys products, warehouses them, and ships them to your door in a day, often for free. Warehouses, trucks, planes, wages, returns. By the time the box hits your porch, there is almost nothing left. For a long stretch, Amazon's North American retail margin was low single digits, and its international retail actually lost money. So if the store barely profits, how is Amazon one of the most valuable companies in the world? Here is the first turn. Amazon stopped being just a store a long time ago. It quietly became a landlord, an ad network, and a utility company all at once. And those are where the profit lives. Take the landlord part first. Most of what you buy on Amazon isn't even sold by Amazon. It's sold by third-party sellers, small businesses, who pay Amazon for the privilege. They pay referral fees on every sale. They pay for fulfillment, storing their goods in Amazon's warehouses and riding its delivery network. Added up, and third-party seller services are now around a quarter of Amazon's entire revenue. And unlike Amazon's own retail, this is high-margin money, because Amazon doesn't buy the inventory or eat the risk. It just takes a cut of everyone else's sales, like a mall charging rent plus a slice of every store's register. The sellers do the work. Amazon owns the building. But the landlord business isn't even the biggest secret. Look at what's hiding on the page right in front of you. Those sponsored products at the top of every search, the suggested items, the brands paying to appear first. That's advertising, and it has quietly become a tens of billions of dollars business. Amazon knows exactly what you're about to buy, because you're literally on a shopping site typing in what you want. That makes its ad space some of the most valuable on the internet, more targeted than almost anything else out there. Sellers don't just pay rent now, they pay to be seen. And nearly all of that ad money drops straight to the bottom line. And yet, none of these is the most profitable thing Amazon has ever built. Because while you were shopping, it was quietly running something most of its customers have never knowingly touched. Now the real engine. Back in 2006, Amazon noticed it had built enormous computing infrastructure just to run its own store, and realized it could rent that computing power to everyone else. They called it Amazon Web Services, or AWS. Today, a huge share of the internet, apps you use every day, streaming services, banks, governments, startups, quietly runs on Amazon servers. And here is the number that rewrites everything. AWS is only about a sixth of Amazon's revenue, but in a typical recent year, it generated the majority of Amazon's entire operating profit. Read that again. The cloud business almost nobody shops for makes more profit than the entire store you actually visit. While retail squeezes single-digit margins, AWS runs around 30%. That is the twist. Amazon looks like a retailer, but it earns like a software company. Put real numbers on it. In a recent year, Amazon's total operating profit was around $37 billion, and AWS alone produced about $25 billion of it. The enormous North American store chipped in a far smaller slice, and the international store actually lost money. So a business that is a sixth of the revenue is two-thirds of the profit. Strip AWS out, and Amazon goes from a profit powerhouse to a company that barely makes money selling things. And AWS isn't slowing down. From the smallest startup to the biggest banks and even government agencies, the modern internet quietly pays Amazon rent for computing, every hour of every day, whether or not a single package ever ships. That is the dream business. Recurring, high margin, and sticky. Because once a company builds on your servers, moving off them is enormously expensive. Meanwhile, that advertising business has ballooned into one of the 3 largest ad platforms on the planet, behind only Google and Meta. Tens of billions of dollars a year, almost pure profit, growing faster than the store itself. So picture it. The store is the front of house, loud, busy, barely breaking even. AWS and ads are backstage, invisible to customers, printing the money. So why keep running a giant low-profit store at all? Because the store is what makes everything else possible. This is the part that turns a pile of separate businesses into a single machine. The store brings in hundreds of millions of shoppers. Those shoppers generate data, seller fees, and ad revenue. That money funds cheaper prices and faster shipping, which brings in even more shoppers and more sellers, which creates more ad space and more demand for cloud computing. Each piece feeds the next. Amazon calls it the flywheel, and once it is spinning, a competitor cannot easily stop it. And there is one more piece that makes the flywheel almost unbreakable: Prime. For about $140 a year, members get free fast shipping, video, music, and more. But Prime was never really a shipping plan. It is a loyalty machine. Once you are paying for free shipping, you buy almost everything from Amazon, just to get your money's worth. Prime members spend far more than everyone else, and they rarely shop anywhere else. So Amazon collects a small subscription fee, and in return locks you into the entire ecosystem. The store, the ads, the data, the cloud, all of it. The subscription isn't the product, your loyalty is. So the low-margin store isn't a weakness. It's the gravity holding the whole profitable system in orbit. So what does this actually mean for you? 3 things. First, when a business sells something at almost no profit, always ask what it's really selling, because the obvious product is rarely the real one. Second, the most profitable parts of the biggest companies are usually the parts you never see. The fees, the data, the infrastructure underneath. And third, the next time something online is shockingly cheap or convenient, remember Amazon and ask who is actually paying and what they are really buying. Amazon didn't win by selling you things. It won by building the stage that sellers, advertisers, and half the internet now have to pay to stand on. That is the whole trick. The store was never the business. It was the doorway to it. If this changed how you see the everything store, subscribe. Every week we decode how a company really makes money. This is educational, not financial advice.